22 million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. When we open our eyes today and look around America, we see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it. 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 And are not afraid to say it.
And are not afraid to say it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are tuned into Black Westchester Presents the People Before Politics radio show. We're on every Sunday, 6 to 8, streaming to you live on Facebook and Instagram, Facebook and YouTube. I said Instagram. Shout out to my man Jericho and brother John. They stream on Instagram on Thursdays. Had me thinking about that. Let me introduce to you my lovely co-host, Lorraine Lopez, in the place to be.
Hey, AJ.
Hey, what's up? So first and foremost, happy Valentine's Day to all y'all lovers out there that's celebrating. Shout out to Sean Patterson Howard, the mayor of Mount Vernon. I just saw on her page a picture, before and after picture of her and her husband. The 34 years of love. That's what it said. Yo, I bowed in him. 34 years. Yo, that's what's up. So for all the lovers out there, happy Valentine's Day. As you know, the newspaper is on the streets right now. If you don't see it yet, it'll be in a location near you probably sometime this week. To everybody in Mount Vernon, I just want to say a couple of words real quick. We lost another one of Mount Vernon's sons, Lou Hill. Went to school with him. You know what I'm saying? Everybody know him from playing ball in Mount Vernon High School. He went on to college. Probably was on his way to pro. I think he had a car accident or something that kind of derailed his going pro. And then he started making a name for himself in the college coaching ranks. And, you know, he was responsible for bringing another Mount Vernon product, Isaiah Cousins, to Oklahoma and made it to the Final Four with them. So anyway, he passed last week just before the Super Bowl. And I was just finishing up the paper and I had to do a tribute to him. So I got a couple of comments from those who knew him, including the mayor of Mount Vernon, who was a freshman when Lou was a senior. And definitely for all my people in Mount Vernon, for all my people who knew that brother, I hope I did a proper tribute to him, you know, in the space that I had allotted. I wanted to do something a little more personable than what News 12 and Low Hud did. So I just want to say rest in power to my brother, Lou Hill. Some call him Sweet Lou. Some call him Sugar Hill. They used to hold up signs that said Hill Street because Hill Street Blues was the TV show out at the time. Yo, gone but not forgotten. And it made me realize, you know, there's a lot of local legends that I haven't actually hit he was just a couple of months older than me, and I expected that he was going to be here for a while, and I never got a chance to have him on the show, and that I'm always going to regret. You know what I'm saying? So, well, today we're doing, especially for Black History, we're trying to do some people that are Black history in the making. But before we get into our guests, I know Lorraine has a very, very brief thing she wants to say real quick, and then we're going to get into our first guest.
Hey, well, remember when I said last week that Mayor Spaniel don't like Spanish people? Like Kanye said about Bush. So I said Mayor Spaniel don't like Spanish people. I want to take that back because although I meant everything else, and I'm still a little upset. Mayor Spaniel's a cool guy. And he didn't deserve that. So I just want to apologize to him, and I'm just gonna tell him that although I apologize for that, I still want to let him know we watching you and keep an eye on those people out there. Those people, they need help. I'm not saying, all I'm gonna say is I'm gonna retract that and say, Mayor Spaniel, do a little bit better. That's it.
So what's up? We're gonna get into our first guest, but a quick shout out to my partner in crime, Damon K. Jones. Said what's up to the family. He said happy Black Love Day. Shout out to Sandy Barnaby. Said too many are gone in these COVID times. Sorry for your loss. Stephanie Swan said blessings to the distinguished guests, the distinguished panel. And Cheryl Blue, Brownlee Fox said happy People Before Politics fam. Hello, People Before Politics fam. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. And A.K. Cole, my man Latif, said happy Valentine's Day. And without further ado, we got my brother from another mother, my brother Ken Bright. This brother right here does a lot for so many. We talk about unsung heroes. He's not the type of cat that you see taking photos and having press conferences and smiling up, posing with all the elected officials. But this brother has been doing a lot of stuff, including feeding a lot of the people that need to be fed, providing food. I know his work with recidivism, preventing recidivism. I'll let him talk a little bit about that. But this is my brother from another, Ken Bright from LPS, Life Progressive Services Group. Did I say that right, my brother?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
All right. How are you?
I feel good, bro, especially being here. I've been watching you for quite a while. And
right. You've been on the show. You've been on the show.
Yeah, I was
when we was in the studio, you was on the show. You was on the show at least once or twice, right?
Once, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, I don't know how long ago that was, but welcome back, though.
I appreciate you reaching out.
No doubt. So, I mean, I said a little bit of who you are and what you do, but for those who do not know you, please tell the people who you are, what LPS is about, and some of the work that you do, my brother.
Okay. First of all, as they know, my name is Ken Bright. I'm the director and founder of Life Progressive Services Group, which is the LPS group. And it consists of being a reentry transitional program for those who are formerly incarcerated, not prisoners, not inmates, formerly incarcerated individuals who are citizens of our community. Even though they did the things that they did before they left, don't mean all of them going to do the same thing when they come home. However, I started this reentry program back in 2004, but it became a nonprofit in 2010. What we try to do is obviously try to provide some type of services that are critical to their prevention of recidivism. We know that a lot of individuals are coming home, a lot of things is happening in the community, especially during this time of COVID. But individuals who do come home, they still need help. So I'm here to provide them some type of services, whether it's some type of just communication, listening to their issues, providing them some type of solutions, depending on what solutions they need, finding what type of skill sets they have and what skill sets they don't know they have, but they do have. and just link them into the right people or the right programs to get them forward. Um, and you mentioned the food situation. The food program started in 2010, became a 501c3. Uh, and what it is, I took it as a preventive mechanism for those who are coming home, because I know of individuals who are coming home have absolutely nothing. Um, but let me regress and go back. Me being a formerly incarcerated individual myself, I did 20 years incarcerated. But during my time in incarceration, when I first in, I was toxic. I was toxic like a lot of individuals I know who might have been there and who have transitioned to a better life and a better service at large. So what I did, once I got an education, I researched, did whatever I could do to get ahead, to keep from losing some type of insanity, because it's very easy to lose your insanity incarcerated. But I don't want to go too fast into it, but I know you got questions, but go ahead, because I can just ramble.
Right. One of the things, well, you talked about the previously incarcerated, and life pre-COVID, life was kind of rough for brothers and sisters coming out, trying to re 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 reform themselves into a society again. And COVID has made a lot of things even more difficult than they were before. If you can speak a little bit about that, because I know, like when we think about COVID, we think about people getting stuck at home. We don't think about those type of situations, you know.
Mhm. Well, I'm also part of a support group of advocates who also deal with RAP, which is also right now on the table of dealing with COVID.
Okay.
And one of our pressing issues right now is to provide them the proper services or let them come home to get the services that they need. Because a lot of them who are uh, geriatric individuals who are incarcerated, who've been incarcerated for a very long time, they're no longer a threat to communities. These individuals have a lot of value to bring to a community. Not saying that all of them that in there have COVID, but they're vulnerable at this point. So
Mhm.
we need to just bring them home and provide them type of services and opportunities they can, and where the community can prevent from situations like this happening even further. We need individuals of the community to have some type of empathy and understand the bigger picture. You know, everybody that goes to become incarcerated don't remain criminalized or criminals. What happens is they become victims of criminality because we're talking about treatment, mistreatment within the system, and their negligence of providing the correct services that they need in order to properly transition into a human being as they are. But that they're doing is trying to dehumanize individuals who are incarcerated. I mean, it's nothing new. I'm just really preaching to the choir right now. But the
Right.
bottom line is that we really have to do things, not actually talk about it. You have to be about it. But go ahead.
No doubt, no doubt. Shout to one of the others, Kevin Sean Hope. Um, he said, "Hotep, we all do our part. The team." He said, "Progress, peace," and then he said, "The team." Um, so I just wanted to bring that up because I know another thing I find Mount Vernon, a city like Mount Vernon. So, like a lot of people, the homeless and other people that have issues throughout the county end up getting dumped into a city like Mount Vernon. And then there's less and less resources. You understand what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
then, you got those people coming home. They once formerly incarcerated, they're coming home, and there's no resources for the people. Talk about why that's important. With the lack of the resources, for
Well,
people that are already out, and then the people that are getting out. That's a big issue in the city of cities like Mount Vernon, not just Mount Vernon.
let me explain this here. Let's go back to you have to always go to the root of the thing.
Right,
The bottom line is it's not designed to help you.
right, right,
It's not designed to help you. It's designed to keep the status quo going. We understand this is a slave plantation situation. We got to understand these things. If we don't understand and accept these things for what it is right in your face, then you're gonna miss the whole point. And your decision making or your judgment on individuals who are incarcerated is going to continue to be negative. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about families. We're talking about individuals who are leaving communities and not even considered as community citizens because the funding that these individuals get in the community as for a census, they're counted upstate.
They counted where they're locked up, and they counted in that.
So that community benefits immensely off the labor and taxpayers' dollars off the backs of those who are
Absolutely, absolutely. Lorraine, you got a question? I want to let you get in there. You got. I saw you nodding your head. You have a question?
No, I just wanted to know what I had, what type of services. I know that he said referral services, and I know there's a food distribution program. How how do they find you? Through a probation or you go to the jail? How did they find you?
Well, first of all, a lot of individuals come to me who might be mandated from the courts.
Okay.
I'm getting a lot of individuals who have to do community services, which brings me in contact not really with a lot of major individuals who have dealt with serious crime, but nevertheless, there was a law broken. And they have to, give community service. But it gives me an opportunity to speak to those who really never been incarcerated, but might have had alcohol or whatever, and the court assigned them to do community services. But it gives me a chance to really expand their imagination and their understanding of the whole dynamics of it. Because everybody in society is a victim of this here, whether they understand it or not, whether it's through their tax dollars or the fact is families directly that are impacted. What I try to provide is basically counseling, workshops. I was planned on doing that, but COVID came into play, so that kind of dampened a lot of things up. But I found out that I still have an opportunity because I deal with a lot of volunteers who come to help out at my food pantry, and it gives me a chance to really expand their imagination to what's really going on. And not only that, this is a 24-hour thing and 24/7. So I'm always getting in communication with individuals who are formerly incarcerated, doing well. I deal with those who are formerly incarcerated and who are not doing too well. But the conversations that I have with them is not something that just, my discussion is always about growth. Let's put it that way. It's about growth. We don't have that luxury to have fun, really, to be honest with you. We really don't. Because a lot of things are pressing on us as a community, as a society. So it's really expanding even more. And let me explain this here. This is very important. We have individuals. One of the issues we're dealing with as far as advocacy is isolation. We're talking about those who are in the box. We're talking about those who are solitary confinement. And we hear these different things about these individuals being horrendous and put in the box and things of that nature. And we're talking about individuals who are in the box for about 10, 15, 20 years. We're talking about in a box without access of anything, services or anything. But now COVID is very interesting because COVID has forced individuals into some form of isolation in their homes, and they can't deal with it. And it has been noted through studies that isolation has affected certain families of being isolated in their house. This is why a lot of people can't stand it and they go out anyway. They're just refusing to accept the reality of what's possibly at play. So they're sacrificing themselves to that point. So I use that scenario because What happens to the individuals that's incarcerated and in the box for 10, 15, 20 years without type of contact services? At least those in communities who are in isolation have access to TV. They have access to radio. They have access to better food. It's a host of things that they have. So they're just really isolated in their own home with all the amenities that they need. But the individuals who are incarcerated in the box or in isolation don't have that luxury. And not only on top of that, you're dealing with racism in there. You're talking about individuals who are waking up in the middle of the night and beat down because they want to stress their views. And not only that, you have individuals who are basically losing their mind. Literally. And yet still there's parole that's coming up for that individual. Think about this. They have parole coming up. So the paperwork had been trumped up already on him when he presents himself to the parole board because he's coming from the box, going to the parole board. So the parole board is going to treat him, they're going to act as judge and jury as well, again. And they're going to go by the documents and paperwork that's written about these individuals, which might not even be true. But who's going to defend them? They're already incarcerated. So a lot of times their rights are removed. Now we're talking about, let's say if they let them back in the community without any training, any psychological treatment, no skill set, no education provided. What do you expect for them to do? I mean, we have common sense. So this is why I created the program, very simply, because I did 20 years and I understand what's at play. Once you understand the dynamics of what's at play, it's very easy to solve the problem. It's just a matter of actually getting behind it and doing it. But I understand people who are victims of crime. I understand how they might feel. But if they understand the system as a whole, maybe they can begin and understand that these individuals that are committing the crime are also victims. People are going to do what they do, depending on their education and the availability of opportunity. If they don't have those opportunity or the education, they're going to go to the next easiest thing. It's who's making the money, who's bringing the bags in, and they're going to go there. So you have to provide them opportunity if you want to change their mindset. The theme of my program is you change their mindset, you change their life. And this is what it's about. And let me explain this here. This is not just for those who are formerly incarcerated. We have individuals who are looking at Mount Vernon or looking at society as a whole. A lot of people are toxic who've never been to jail before in their life and have the highest education in the world. But they're toxic to the community. Their decision makings, their planning decisions. There's a lot of self-hate. There's a lot of racism, and we have to accept it for what it is.
I didn't want to interrupt you, but okay. So I need you to adjust your screen so you're higher up in the screen because there's what I noticed. A couple of people mentioned there's a closed caption that comes up, and the words are going over your face, so you're not high. You know,
am I doing all right there?
You're getting lost behind. If you get high, make yourself higher in the screen.
Oh, make me so high. I'll make this.
Yeah. Make you. Yeah. And yeah, because there's words that there's a closed caption that comes across. I was wondering what everybody was talking about. I had to end up pulling it up on my phone so I can see what the people can see. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just didn't want you to get lost behind the words because a lot of what you're saying is very important.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you.
Well, let me ask one more question. How old are these gentlemen that you work with? Like, what's the highest percentage of age range?
Well, I've had somebody come into the program who actually did 42 years incarcerated and 15 years in the box. Now, it so happens this individual basically was self-educated anyway, so he really held on to his sanity. But we know PTSD still is effective. But getting to your question, I deal with a range of individuals. There's no limit of the individuals I deal with. I'll deal with children, 15, 16, those who are basically on the cusp of going to incarceration, and those who are basically just coming home who are old. I mean, it's no age limit. I mean, the whole community is affected. It's just a matter of being able to connect with the individual's age and the person you're dealing with.
We got a comment from one of our viewers, April Frazier. What's up, April? She said, "What about the 14-year-old who got 25 years for being in the wrong place? How they are going to adjust after being raised in prison and then having and then have parole, so they're still not free when they get out. Can you please look into something like that for juveniles who got long time?"
Well, see, that also borders on the situation of those who might be familiar with Khalif Browder.
Yes,
Khalif
yes.
Browder, who did time when he was just arrested because of a book bag. And the fact is, he was abused while he was incarcerated, and he was never brought up on any charges.
Right. He didn't even go, yeah. He didn't get
And
charged. Yeah.
and he was abused inside by other individuals inside. Not only that, there's film showing where the police, the correction officers also participated in supporting him being traumatized by being beat up. It's horrendous. But her issue that she's bringing up, yes, that is a big issue. This is why we have to have prevention situations. You have to engage yourself with advocacy of changing the system, because they're not going to change it if you don't get behind. And there's many groups that are actually making leadways with changing the criminal justice system, the court system. So it's just a matter of having individuals that who are capable of connecting with these individuals, these young individuals, because of us who are those of us who are formerly incarcerated are critical messengers. We actually know what what is needed and what we can share with these individuals to change their mindsets. But if the community do not embrace us and bring us in, you can bring all the professionals in the world to deal with these individuals. But if they never have been impacted themselves, where they can connect with these individuals, then they just there to get, to get a check, and it's really not going to really affect them or be effective as they could be if it was somebody who was actually incarcerated and experienced those situations, who can actually pinpoint and talk about the issues that they have actually came out of.
Right.
And then it builds their confidence. You have to get their confidence. Once you get their confidence, you can take them anywhere. But the fact is to take them what makes them a better individual.
I got somebody else. They're gonna come in real quick and say a couple of words. Now, I saw a bunch of stuff online about you having to move from the location that you've been in for a while. And actually, one of our listeners actually asked that question: have you found a new location? But I want to bring in Miss Lisa, who has been advocating for you all over Facebook.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi,
Hi,
Kate.
Lisa.
Hi, Lorraine. Hey, like your hair, Lorraine.
Thank you. I like you. Oh, Haley.
Thank you. Hi, AJ.
How are you? I became aware of the situation where I guess he might have to move locations because of the post that you posted on Facebook.
Yeah, and I am happy to announce that an anonymous donor that Ken found has paid the rent for the entire year. So,
praise God.
Wow, that's awesome.
If we had an
Yes,
applause
no.
button, we don't got no applause button like we did in the studio. I just got to clap for you. Clap. Like, that's what's up.
so that means that I can move on to the next job, which is raising money to help Ken buy a new van, because his van is really, it's past its last legs. It lost its last legs a long time ago.
So I want to catch people up. So for people that don't know, it didn't read your post. What was the situation? You had to move from a location that you were already in for a while, and if you would like to speak a little bit about that, just so people know what we're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very simple. The owner of the building, he needs his rent. Very simple. He's been very, should I say,
Generous.
yes, that's the word I'm looking for. He's very generous for over the years I've been here. So what I had to do was actually put out. The fact is that I needed funding to continue the work that I do.
Okay.
So that's basically what it is. But there's so many other things there, operation costs, and like Lisa mentioned, there's the van that is on its last leg, might have to crawl out at some point. But the fact is that there's many levels to this here. There's many nuts and bolts to this here in order to make it happen and continue to happen. So I'm still seeking support and financial support from individuals to help, because teamwork makes the dream work.
Absolutely.
People
Absolutely.
have to understand, and I try to stress this: we have to learn to be each other's cheerleaders. And a lot of people might not like that term, but I use it for the simple fact is it means the same point of each of us have to do our part to help each other. This is not a solo thing. This is a community thing. This is it's a national thing. I mean, it's very simple to see it around us that we have to help each other out. And a lot of people have a misconception of the word usage. I just want to throw this in there. We're here to be on this planet to be used. People use the term very, very crazy. The key is not to be misused or abused.
Right.
We're here to be servants to each other. Service means to be used.
Right.
The fact is, make it happen. If it's benefiting individuals and it's benefiting your community, how can you not latch on behind it? Because if you don't, what happens is the community starts to decay, immorality, morals start to drop. It's a host of issues that takes place. It's a domino effect. Okay.
So Lisa, how long have you been involved with Ken's project? What drew you to that? What made you want to bring attention to his fundraising needs? What made you want to get involved in that?
Well, I met Ken about a year ago at Sean Patterson Howard's inaugural celebration.
Okay.
And shortly after, I became very interested and involved in some of the criminal justice reform issues. When you think about it, we can't change what happened in people's lives in the 90s, in the early 2000s, in the 80s. What we can change is what they're experiencing today while they're incarcerated and what happens afterwards. And what Ken does is so important because reentry is critical. You know, we failed people and we still are failing people before they get to prison. Well, when they are released from prison, we're not doing nearly enough to support them. I mean, I looked for federal grants. There was one federal program that closed 2 years ago. I mean, there's really not enough focus on supporting people while they are incarcerated to leave and helping them reenter the community. And what Ken provides is, you know, the practical kinds of things like helping people write resumes, helping people practice for interviews, helping people get clothing so that they have something to wear for interviews, helping people have food, you know, helping people fulfill their basic needs. But more important than that, he's providing support and a community. You know, when I first got interested in criminal justice reform, a formerly incarcerated person said, people who hurt, hurt. And what Ken does is try to take that hurt away and make people feel supported and wanted and loved and channel their energies towards good. And it's a wonderful thing. And he doesn't take anything for himself. You know, he's in a basement in Mount Vernon, and what he's built is incredible. And then when COVID hit, and he expanded his food distribution beyond the formerly incarcerated to anybody in the community who needs it. I mean, he's doing amazing, amazing work.
Yeah, and so I asked her when I saw you. I saw you online when I shared that he was going to be on. I asked you to come on if you'd like to say a couple of words. You know, I think people need to hear from others. You know, it's one thing when we talk about some things we do, but when you see the effect that you're having on others, and how others look at you. I think sometimes that's important too. So I thank you for coming, Lisa. I appreciate you, and thank you for tuning into the show.
Thank you,
Thanks
Lisa.
for
Thank
having me,
you.
everyone.
Thanks,
Bye.
Lisa. All right.
Bye.
So, my brother, that I'm getting a lot of another follow up question from the young lady who asked that question about the 14-year-old.
Yeah.
She asked a follow up question. She said, well, she made a statement. Me myself, I try to have my son talking and dealing with men that I know who did time and got out and I guess like you were saying, the credible messages. And she wanted to look into some kind of mentoring nonprofit set up for long-term incarcerated men and women to be a guide for those who are getting out. I think that would be a good thing. There's something I'm looking into starting. I see the need, which would be mentors, especially for juveniles who had long time.
Well,
That was
that's well, that's noble. But now the thing is where is she located at? And
I think
you see, that's
she grew up with where I used to live in Long Island. I think she might be in Atlanta now, though. But
okay.
she might be in the Atlanta area now. Yeah.
Well, see, that's the thing. She would have to really locate somebody in Atlanta, an agency that's in Atlanta that's also dealing with those who formerly incarcerated. She has to network individuals. She can also reach out to the Correction Association of New York. I don't have the information in front of me right now. She can locate the Correction Association of New York, and they can probably tap her into somewhere because they're more nationally known.
Right.
They're in Manhattan now, Correction Association, and you can get a hold of Talib Muhammad or Terrell Muhammad, either one, and then some other people.
So let me and so many questions. You were giving out so much information. I had so many questions I wanted to ask you, but I didn't want to interrupt you, and I'm trying to remember them.
I can be long-winded on this.
No. But the people need to hear this, and I wanted to get back to this because actually somebody brought it to my attention. Our show is called People Before Politics. And when you get around election time, all you see is all these elected officials and candidates. They was like, I see the politics, what happened to the people? So we trying to get back to these kind of interviews we were doing. Probably when you came on in the beginning, we used to do a lot of this, focusing on the issues. And I definitely wanted to highlight, I didn't know about your good news, but I'm very happy. Now, let me ask one question, a new question. For anyone who's seeing this for the first time, coming across your organization or you for the first time, and maybe they might want to donate, is there a way for the viewers here to donate to the organization to help you continue the work you're doing?
Yeah, there's a couple of them. Everybody know about Facebook. I'm pretty much on there a lot of times. So it's usually where you can donate their Network for Good. You have @Blue, which is ACTBLUE. That's the donation at Life Progressive Services Group. You pulled me up. Then we have Cash App. You can use the Cash App symbol, Bright Decisions.
Okay.
Then you have Zelle, which is you can use Zelle, which is the LPS Group Incorporated. Or if you want to send a check or a money order, you can send it to 47 South 5th Avenue, Mount Vernon, New York, in care of Life Progressive Services Group. 47 South 5th Avenue, Mount Vernon, New York, 10550.
What I'm probably, if you can text me all of that, when I post this on Black Westchester, I like to list that below. So, I'm sure maybe for people that didn't have a pen or might watch this later. So if they want to donate, because, I say all the time, we need to support our Black businesses. We definitely need to support our Black businesses. And we especially need to support programs and organizations like yours. That's as important to the community as supporting your Black businesses, because of the services that you provide to a lot of people that they have nowhere else to go to get these services. You know what I'm saying?
That's very true. That's very true. And what happens is, like I said, it's a domino effect. If individuals don't have access to food and things that they need, the businesses will pay for it because individuals will come right into their store or their establishment and do what they have to do to get what they get. So it's a domino effect. You can't look at this as a one-sided situation. That's why they call the term community. Everybody has to be connected. If you're not going to be connected, then you're part of the problem.
Absolutely, absolutely. Nancy Cater Maldonado and Keisha Munn. Yes, I'm definitely going to post this. They're asking me, can I post the information? When I asked you, send me the donation information so I can post it. I have a couple of we have a couple of people that are watching right now that are waiting for me to post it so they can be a blessing to you.
Okay.
Ken can also type it in right now too as we're speaking, right in the comments.
Yeah, but I want to post it. I'm going to post it also on Black.
I'll run through it again. I'll run through it again right now.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll run through it so Lorraine can get it. Okay, Cash App. You can do Cash App Bright Decisions. Bright Decisions with an S. Then you have Act Blue, ACTBLUE, and it's under Life Progressive Services Group. Then you have Facebook. Everybody know me as Ken Bright on Network for Good. You can send a check by Zelle, whether it's through Chase Bank or whatever bank, the LPS Group Incorporated. Or you can send a money order or check to the address, which is 47 South 5th Avenue, Mount Vernon, New York, 10550.
And we're going to post all this on Black Westchester again. So anybody who's not catching this, they can just, copy and paste right off the website. So we want to definitely provide that information, man.
But I do want to say something regarding the community because, like I said, it's a domino effect. This is a community, and I'm speaking to all the politicians or the potential politicians.
Yes,
I mean, it's really disheartening. Me, because I was raised in Mount Vernon at a very young age before I went into crime, and I moved. But what I want to say is that Mount Vernon have to do better. I've been here for a long time, 20-something years I've been here. And listen, the politicians, ministers, Masons, secret societies, sororities, all of y'all got to come together because y'all acting like gangs. We need a truce? No, we need everybody to come together. It's very simple. People need help. The community need to be looked at better because Mount Vernon has a lot of potential. It's always had and it's shown a lot of potential in it. So to see it to lose its credibility and people constantly attacking each other, I mean, it has to stop at some point. Why should somebody from the outside of the community have to come in and to take control of your situation, which is your community? That's carrying into a stereotype that y'all have no control when y'all have power. You cannot handle the power. People are trying to do things. If the mayor is in position to do things, I understand people have their opinion on this, their opinion on that. But the bottom line is, it's about people again. It's not about you individually or your clique as misused. It's not about you. It's about the community as a whole. That's all I'm asking for. I'm just pleading for people, get your act together. That's most important. Come together. Put your issues on the back burner so the people can move in the forefront.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Lorraine. Lorraine got something?
Well, no, speaking of community, can you tell us where you do the food pantry?
Oh, sure.
And also you're looking for volunteers for the food distribution as well, right?
Yeah, there's two people I was looking for, administrative assistant and food coordinator, volunteer coordinator. Somebody to coordinate all the volunteers that come in, handle the schedules and things of that nature. Yes, and the address is 47 South 5th Avenue. That's between 1st and 2nd Street, down the block from City Hall. It's across the street, directly through the parking lot of Grace Church.
And when are you there?
Well, we're here basically 3 days a week, sometimes 4. It depends on whether we have, what has taken precedence over our reentry is the food. That had been moved in the forefront because of COVID. So a lot of people ask me when. I can't really tell them when a lot of times because it depends on one, the weather, and it depends on if we have enough food. So I'm not going to come out with, like 10, 15 bags when I got 30, 40 people online. It won't work like that. And I don't like to turn people away. And I want to give people equal food. That's the key. And like I said, there's a lot of people, but I'm here like Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays sometimes, and Saturdays. But we usually try to hand out food on Saturday at 12 o'clock. But you have to come earlier than that, as everybody knows. Sometimes I hand out on Wednesday. Depends on how much we have. Because if I have enough by Wednesday, I'll hand out because I don't want to be back holding food that's going to come in, new food that's going to come in. I like to keep it rotated. So I make sure the food that's fresh coming in goes in, and that which has been held for a minute goes out.
I know you're out there a lot because it's like every other day I see one of your posts. Yeah.
We try to be consistent. People have to eat consistently. So, So and I understand the situation because when I was incarcerated, when I came home, I needed help. I needed help. So, and I worked at a food pantry and I learned and understood it. And this is why I was working on Wall Street. This is what I did as a side thing, working in and volunteering in the food pantry in Manhattan. When I left Wall Street, I didn't get a chance to get into that. But when I left Wall Street, I started this program with my little decision because I know the great need of it.
So let me ask you one question. So you're not going to have to move now. You're going to be able to stay where you are.
Yeah, I'll be able to stay. So what?
Okay, I just want to be clear because that's the address you're giving. So I wanted to make sure.
Right.
That's what Lisa said.
Yeah, it is. Right, 47 South Fifth Avenue. We're still there. Thank God we're still here, and thank God to the former mayor Ernest Davis that we're still here.
Shout out to former Mayor Ernest Davis. Absolutely.
I want to say this here because I've been doing this here now, like I said, for 20 years. I paid little money, but I haven't paid enough to him where he deserved. But understand, I would have been able to help a lot of people if it wasn't for his support. It really, you know what I'm saying? And if you remember, I created a division in my program, which is those who are displaced by fire or any type of traumatic situation where his wife, Betty Davis, is also honored on that behalf. So when somebody's in a fire and they need help, it's because of Betty Davis is when I created that to give those. What we do, we will provide blankets, we provide food, and we provide a teddy bear or something soft for a child who was in the fire who was traumatized. So we give them the walk with something they can cuddle and cradle to. So this is what we do.
I think that's one of the first articles we did. I don't know if y'all were honoring her. I'm not sure. I think maybe Cynthia wrote the article, but and the pictures you and Mrs. Davis and two other people. I forget the story, but I think they were honoring her or something. Yeah, the fire department. Right.
It was the fire department. Yes, it was the fire department and emergency services department in City Hall at that time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
that's what's up, man. Yo, people need to see. We applaud celebrities. We applaud athletes. You know what I'm saying? For playing games. You understand what I'm saying? We applaud our actors and actresses. We in our community we even celebrate the drug dealers. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, but the cats that's doing the work, the good men and women that are doing the work, like what y'all don't get celebrated enough. And that's what this is about right now. Black Westchester, people before politics wanted to celebrate you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? We celebrate the achievements of people who have passed in Black history. We need to celebrate the achievement of people that are doing the work right now. You know, my mother always said to me, my mom's passed, just before we started Black Westchester, she always said, give me my flowers while I'm alive to smell them. You know what I'm saying? And this is us giving you your flowers, my brother. You know what I'm saying? So,
I appreciate it. And I give my regards to Brother Damon as well, because I know
yes,
he's
yes,
your
yes.
partner in starting that.
Yes,
And,
yes, he couldn't make it. So, you know, he's
yeah.
running around doing some cupcake stuff with Montica, so he couldn't make it. And Dr. Bob sends his apologies. Bob Baskerville, I had him running with me all weekend, giving out doing the papers, and then he had to do some stuff with his mom's. So he's resting today. So he's not here today.
I can dig it.
Yeah,
You got
yeah.
work
So,
to do.
yeah, I've been working, Dr. Bob, man. We've been running around. We was running around everywhere, giving out distributing these papers, man. So shout out to my man who be holding me down, Dr. Bob. You know what I'm saying? Is there anything? Oh, you know, I just wanted to make this point. You know, we talk about those incarcerated. We talk about the condition of men.
Mm-hmm.
We never think about. There was this one woman, I forget her name. I have a video of her on Black Westchester,
Mm-hmm.
and when she was talking about what the women have to deal with,
Mm-hmm.
yo, it just broke my heart. Like, I mean, like it just the conditions they have to deal with, stuff that I didn't even think about. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, yo, and the rules are made. The rules are made by men. So you know what I'm saying? Who don't understand the conditions that they go through. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to shout that out. Like I didn't want to overlook mentioning them.
Yeah, let me speak on that. Yeah. I mean, it's unethical, it's immoral. Why would but now at the same time, women who are also inside there with the correction officer within corrections can be just as worse as the men. So I mean, it works both ways, you know. But they're not treating them as humans. It's always about dehumanizing individuals and stereotypes. You know what I'm saying? It's about a person who committed a crime to come to jail and goes to jail. That doesn't define who their heart is or who they are. You know, these are people who are hurting and crying out for help. I mean, some people cry out for help different ways, and people got to understand that. So this is why a lot of times when the police show up on a scene of a crime, it's very important that social workers be there as well. You know, you just can't have brute force coming in dealing with a situation that's very sensitive and dealing with mental health. Mental health is a very big issue, and it's going to get worse as time go on because of the trauma that people are experiencing every day in their own world. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people strike out at individuals, but it might not even been about you. A lot of times you was that person who brought it out. People got issues. There's trauma on top of trauma for people. So the key is connecting with these individuals and having some type of empathy and understanding to communicate with these individuals. Reach individuals where they're at. That's what's upset. A lot of times people just want to be heard. They just want to talk to somebody to talk to.
Right.
And I get a lot of that. They just want to talk. Somebody who they think has some type of reasoning in their character to provide them with the right information.
Right.
Not no illusions.
And that's it's important what you just said about mental health. We have a lot of issues of mental health and issues in the Black and brown community before COVID. Now, COVID has exposed a lot of this, and there's a lot less resources. And what you said about a social worker, and I want to be clear because the Republicans and others have co-opted the message of the people that were talking about defunding the police. They were not talking about, the original people were not talking about getting rid of police. What they were talking about, and police officers have also said this before, they are being asked to step up in areas where the county or the government has failed to provide services, and they are the only ones available. And all situations don't require a badge and a gun. You understand what I'm saying? And the police are not qualified, or better, some use a better word, trained to deal with people with mental issues. You know what I'm saying? Mental health issues. So that's we get these situations and stuff. If you and some of the funding, the police get their raises and whatever and everything. And when they put these budgets, they need to include like a social worker type of situation or in other situations to to be able to answer those calls as well, because I think that would go a long way. And like I said, COVID has just exposed what has always been going on in our communities as it is. Now it's a bigger story now because of COVID. And then it made other people have to deal with the mental issues of being, from COVID. So,
Listen, COVID has been a curse and a blessing at the same time.
Absolutely.
Because what it did, it exposed our vulnerability. It exposed the shenanigans. It exposed racism, as you were speaking on, basically. But what it most importantly it did is forcing people to become more humble and understanding to individuals. You have individuals who are doing well before COVID. I mean, doing well, who are actually coming to me on food bank. People need help. And we cannot discriminate against anybody or underestimate individuals, because you have individuals who need and will not even come to the food bank because they're worried about their character being recognized or being used against them. People have to break off or get off this pedestal and be honest with themselves that if you need help, come to get help, whether it's psychologically, whether it's food wise, counseling, anything. Reach out to individuals and get that help. But when you're speaking about it revealed right now, yes, everything is being revealed right now. All the covers are being removed on everything across the world. So you really can't. It's like you can't play the middle no more. You have to pick your side right now. There is no middle. You for people in the community, or you're against the people and the destruction of your community. There is no more middle. You used to be able to dance and play the middle. One side, you play rock one side, go to the other side, rock another side. But you can't do that no more because people are smarter today. You know what I'm saying? You can't run the same blueprint that you used to use. People can see. It's transparent. It's transparent. That's why it's very important. Just be honest and be real. I mean, I'm formerly incarcerated. I'm giving it to you from where I got it from. Mm-hmm. And that's another thing. People underestimate those who are incarcerated.
Wait. When you does incarcerated mean more than one night in jail? Like
no,
incarcerated mean long term?
No, incarceration means just being locked up. Period. Now, how much time you do depends on that judge when they give you that time, and then it depends on you when you're inside how much time you're gonna do.
So I've been incarcerated.
Where at? Incarcerated with county jail? Okay.
I spent the night and down the river over here in Yonkers.
Okay, all right, okay. I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm sure you learned some things.
No, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad.
Thank God it wasn't.
And shout to our brother, Dr. Bob Basketball, who tells his story often. He, got involved in that street life, and he ended up being incarcerated for a period of time. Yeah. Got out, got his life together, went back to school. Now he's a professor. You know what I'm saying? He's teaching at the schools now. You know what I'm saying? And if he doesn't tell that story, when you see him and you hear him, you would never know that he was incarcerated. You would never know if he didn't tell you.
And I bet you there's a lot of folks that you've worked with that are just like Dr. Bob today, right?
Well,
Dr. Bob is unique. But
I have a lot of allies and other formerly incarcerated individuals who are doing magnificent
success stories, right?
Magnificent things.
That's
and
nice.
the thing about it, in all these particular communities, these individuals a lot of the politicians have to come on board and understand the need of these critical thinkers and critical messengers and those who are returning to the community with master's degrees, doctorate degrees, whatever certification that they have. And what happens is the best part of it We understand both sides of the railroad. We understand both sides. We understand the crime, and we understand civil. We understand that. We understand the working world. We understand what's needed. So what happens is our position becomes very valuable. Very valuable.
Our next guest is here, but two things. All the information that you said, just send me that either in an email or a text, so I can post it on Black Westchester. So I can post it.
Yes,
and is there any question, anything I didn't ask you in closing that you want to add?
No, just for people to think about what I say and do good. Get rid of all that toxicity that's there. Get rid of all that. It's all toxic. And our children, and the babies and children are watching. Don't think they don't recognize. The children recognize who love them in the community. Children know who cares about them.
That's right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're not stupid.
Yeah.
And they might not say nothing, and then when they strike out in the community, they're striking out because y'all toxic. The apple ain't too far from the tree. But okay. Thank you. And thank you all. Peace and blessings.
No doubt, my brother. And anytime you got something that you need to get out, you let us know. You know what I'm saying? Utilize us open door policy. I would like to have you on more often. It's probably been like 4 or 5 years since your last appearance. I'd like to not make it that long before your next appearance. So, and I just want to applaud you again for all the work that you are doing. And
thank you to Lisa.
I'm gonna talk you offline. Because I think I have at least one suit that I'm not wearing that I can probably donate when you come out of the COVID. That, you know, for someone who needs it for going on a job and stuff.
I know you lost a lot of weight, man.
Well, I lost some of it and I found some of it, so I got to get back to but I did find some of it back though. Yeah. But so yeah, I'll definitely go through my stuff, and I want to make that happen. To be a part of that as well.
Lorraine, professional clothing as well. Professional clothing for women as well.
Okay, I will remember that.
Are you looking for some?
Yes, we can use some. Yes, professional clothing.
All right. I'll look around.
Absolutely, and we'll talk offline, my brother.
Yes,
and congratulations, on everything. And again, we just wanted to applaud you for all that you do, and give you your flowers while you're still alive. You know what I'm saying? And celebrate you. We don't have to wait for people to die to celebrate them in Black History. We need to celebrate our brothers while they're doing work now. So
and our sisters. That's right.
Brothers and sisters. I'm sorry. Yes. Absolutely. All right, my brother.
Thank you.
All right. So that was my brother Ken Bright.
I like him.
Yeah, man. I want to get again explaining when we get close to the primary. We end up showing a lot of candidate interviews, and we're full of just candidate interviews. And, sometimes we forget about it's people before politics, but, it's the politics that override, so I wanted to get back into the people, the real people. We give you the real talk for the community. And that's what this was. I thank for everybody who's tuned in and we're about to get into our next guest after this brief word. It's not playing. 1 second, people. I'm gonna have to go straight into it. It's not playing. Oh man. Okay, well, we're gonna get right into our next guest. Hold up, this computer's acting up. We got Dr. Evelyn Collins. She's been waiting patiently. I actually cut into a little bit of her time. We're trying to hold on, Dr. Collins. My computer wants to bug out real quick. I'm trying to get you on. These are some of the issues of COVID too, not being in the studio anymore. There you go. There we go. Right there. Something. Try again. I hope I didn't lose everybody. I hope I didn't lose you.
I'm still here, AJ.
Oh, we're still
Miss
on. Okay,
Miss
okay.
Collins, is she in the
Yeah, hold
green
on
room?
1 second. Everybody should be coming back on. Okay. There we go. There we go. My computer was acting up for a minute. I forgive me, people. Let me see if I can play this real quick. You are now tuned into the People Before Politics radio show, brought to you by the good folks at
Black Westchester. Black Westchester. Black Westchester. Black Westchester. Check the newspaper. Black Westchester. Black Westchester. Black Westchester. Check the newspaper.
Real Talk for the Community since 2014.
Hi, Dr. Collins.
Hello.
I have no idea where AJ went.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am wonderful, wonderful.
We're waiting for AJ. He was I don't know what happened. I guess he pressed the wrong button.
It happens.
It happens all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, he's getting there though. He's getting there. He gets better. Well, spoke too
That's
soon.
technology, technology. I could be in the middle of a staff meeting and I'll pop right out. I can be in the middle of a student meeting and I'll pop right out. That's technology. But I'm glad we have it.
Oh, thank God. Thank God. AJ, are you there?
Hold on. There we go. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. That's some of the the situation with doing the show live like this as opposed to doing it in the studio, which I miss a lot. You got to deal with Wi-Fi and all these other issues, but I got you on here. Thank you for coming on. Second part of our show, episode 287. As I was saying, I don't know if you heard me say with my brother Ken Bright. Black history, we usually celebrate people who have passed and their achievements, and we don't celebrate the living and their achievements. And with you and my brother Ken Bright, I wanted to celebrate y'all. As my mother said, give you all your flowers while you're alive so you can smell it. So I wanted to have you on to talk about all the great work that you are doing, starting with the renaming of the Thornton High School to the Denzel Washington School of Arts, which is really huge. Let's start there.
Thank you. Good evening, AJ. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. So we really renamed the Performing and the Visual Arts Magnet School the Denzel Washington School of the Arts. So Nellie A. Thornton is still the name of the building and name of the campus. The program that was launched in 2015 was renamed. So I just want to put that out there. And so the school was formed in 2015 and it started with 6th and 7th graders. And each year it added a grade until this year it has a full school grades 6 through 12, 450 students. And so these are the students who are born and raised in Mount Vernon, or some families have moved back to Mount Vernon to be a part of our school. But these are children who know within their heart and soul that they're interested in the performing and or visual arts. So these are the actors, these are the dancers, the musicians, the visual artists. And so we have them all. So now we have 450 kids, very talented, love their school, love their art form, and are missing the school because we're now in the pandemic.
I just want to say, well, two things. One, you brought the young kids that do the Lion King Junior, I guess it was, up to the radio show.
We did.
And the, when we stream, if you play too much of a copyrighted material, Facebook will cut the stream. These kids were singing a cappella, and they were singing it so well. They were singing it so well that Facebook identified it as a copyright infringement, like I was playing the original song, and cut the stream. That's how good the kids were. Like that was amazing. I was like, whoa, like, yo. And then I finally got to actually to go to one of the plays, Ma Rainey. That was so well done. I was so impressed with these kids and the work that you were doing. I'm sorry I missed the other ones. That was so well done. It wasn't that I didn't have high expectations. I didn't know what to expect, but it exceeded any of my expectations. It was professionally done. Like this could have been on off-Broadway somewhere. Like this was great. And people need to when we get past this COVID thing and y'all can start having plays again. Them plays need to be packed because these plays are incredible.
We have a good following. People do come out. We started out with Your Good Man, Charlie Brown. That was the very first show I directed. And that's when the kids were only in the 6th and 7th grade. And I saw in the work that I did with those 6th and 7th graders that we had something very special. And so I treated them like because I'm a professional theater director. So I treated them like they were professionals in the theater. And they rose to the occasion. They were able to learn their lines, learn their choreography, their blocking. They had a professional mentality. They came to work on time, and they were prepared to produce a show. And we got standing ovations every night. And then from that show, we did Seussical the Musical, which was another outstanding, right? We did that. And then from that, we went to Lion King Junior. And then we did The Color Purple. And then we did Erase It. We've done so many shows. Lion King, Color Purple, The Wiz is the last show we did in 2019. So we were preparing to do an encore production of The Lion King when the pandemic hit. So we had already had auditions. Some of the original cast members were coming back. We added more kids to it. We had about 75 kids in the cast. It was going to blow everybody's mind. We had the vocal music majors were singing in the pit. We had students who were playing right alongside professional musicians, playing the score. Our costume director is a former Broadway costume director. That's why when you see our shows, they're polished and they're professional. My set designer did sets for Spike Lee for films. So that's part of the secret. That's part of the magic, AJ. Most of the people that I'm working with are professionals in the entertainment industry, or they were, and now they're teachers.
Now, let me back up a little bit. I did introduce you, but I didn't fully introduce you. You are the principal at the Denzel Washington School of the Arts, right? And
I am that.
And we so a couple of years ago, I guess in the last couple of years, they had a restructuring of the high school and made the Thornton Building campus a whole performing arts high school. Is that correct?
No, so we were the Performing and Visual Arts Magnet School. So we started out, we were over at Benjamin Turner Middle School for 1 year, and then we moved over to Mount Vernon High School for 2 years. We were there, Performing and Visual Arts Magnet School. And then finally, we moved into the Thornton building. But when we moved into the Thornton building, there were 2 classes still there left from Thornton High School. We're a secondary school. So we're grades 6 through 12. We're not just a high school. We're 6 through 12. So when we came in, we coexisted with the last two graduating classes, and then we became the Denzel Washington School of the Arts on the Nellie A. Thornton campus. So we kept Nellie's name, but we also renamed our program the Denzel Washington School for the Arts.
So what was the inspiration of renaming it after Denzel? And how did he feel when he got the phone call that you wanted to name the school after him?
He was ecstatic. The impetus for that was that everything that Denzel represents, that's what I wanted my students to emulate. And so when I look at his work, and plus he's from Mount Vernon, he went to the school. He was in Thornton when it was Washington Middle School. He was a student. He performed on the stage. And so his words were, it was Washington then, and it'll be Washington again.
Washington, right.
Right, so it was Washington. And Felicia Rashad is the one who made that connection for me. So Felicia Rashad called Denzel, because everyone said they knew Denzel and could hook me up so that I could get the proposal to him. But that was a 3-year journey. It took 3 years to finally get that connection. And so I just happened to say to Felicia, I'm trying to get in touch with Denzel because I want to propose to the Mount Vernon City School District that we rename our school, the PVAM. And she said, okay, Evelyn. And she called him up, and then she called me up, and she said, Evelyn, I spoke to Denzel. He said yes. He asked me to give you his phone number so you can give him a call and talk about the school. And I was frozen for a moment because it was just that simple. Because she has a relationship with him, and she was able to tell him all about our school. She's another partner in our school, and I renamed our auditorium after Felicia. So
right, I remember.
Right. Yeah. So the auditorium is now the Felicia Rashad Auditorium. And so she's been such a wonderful assistant to me and to our school and to the district in general. But she made that phone call. So after I got my census together, I called Denzel, and he was in the middle of doing a table read for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. And so that just aired on Netflix, and it's still airing now. But he was in the middle of that, but he was honored. And so that's the story. He was honored. He was scheduled to come to our school to meet with the students, and then the pandemic hit.
Right.
Pandemic just took everybody out of, any plans you had. Those plans were washed away.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Are you? Is the school open, or are you doing anything via virtual?
We're remote. Yes, we're remote. So some of our students are remote, and some of our students are in person. So we have some of the kids come to school, and some of the kids participate through Zoom on their computers. So we're doing both.
That must be hard for the performing arts type parts.
That's what I'm thinking.
Because
Yeah.
That's not something you can do with everybody being somewhere separate. Like that must be, huh?
It's extremely hard, but I have very creative, talented teachers. Let me tell you, the teachers, this is what people don't know. Our teachers, not just my teachers, but teachers throughout the country were told that they now had to go and teach via Zoom. Now, they've never taught via Zoom. It's like having a classroom like we are right now, but I'm the teacher and I'm working with you guys and everything is on the computer. They were never trained to do that. All of the work is now on Schoology. Now you have to accept the work through, you put videos, teachers are there. It's hard. Then they switched it and they said, well, not only will you teach via Zoom, now you're going to have kids in the classroom. So now you have to direct your lessons to the computer plus the kids who are live in the classroom. So that was part of the complex issue. But, like teachers being resilient, they rose to the occasion and they handled it. It's not the best way to do school, but if we didn't have this technology, I don't know what we would be doing.
So, and I just want to say, for all of those who have always said, teachers get paid, they think when teachers are talking about raises and thinking the teachers make too much, whatever they pay the teachers, it can't be enough. And everybody who has kids now understands now that their kids are home. How much the teachers actually do.
And I don't think teachers are paid enough, AJ. I don't think teachers are paid enough for the work they do. And I always say this. I think educators should be on the same line as medical doctors because we're both impacting and changing lives. They're required to have sometimes the same education as a doctor. I don't think teachers are as respected as they should be. Not only are they edifying with their subject matter, but they're also helping families. They're raising their kids with them. And I think families are recognizing now how critical teachers are because that whole child care piece, look at that. That came into play, you know, because parents were able to send their kids to school and knew they were safe. Now, what do they have in this pandemic? They still have to go to work, but some of them have little ones. And how are they expected to learn, you know, on the computer, right? I think teachers are a godsend. And it was amazing to me when they put teachers as, you know, first responders, right? On the same line as a first responder, wanting to make sure that they were vaccinated, wanting to make sure all of this. And teachers are looking, saying, wow, I just went into education because I love children and I love edifying them, but now I'm a first responder. It kind of changed the playing field a little bit.
One of our readers, John Morrison, he has a show called Brother to Brother. He said, we need more schools like this. I played the trumpet, and more importantly, I learned how to read music in elementary school. Back in the days, Graham School and Mount Vernon.
Excellent.
He said, we need more schools like yours. My hat's off to all the teachers and administrators for all that y'all are doing, and being able to navigate through all of this is absolutely crazy. But I've talked to you several times on the phone. Your passion into what you're doing and making the school become a reality and working with these children. I don't know if that's coming out in this interview, but you're so passionate about it, and I love that about you. And we need people that are passionate about when it comes to our children. We have some people that are there for a check, and that's it, but you're definitely one of those. And you don't want to just build that school, you want to help build the community around the school. You know, I mean, I heard some of your ideas, and I'm just, you know, I had to have you on.
Thank you.
I have a question, AJ. Dr. Collins, when for your performing arts school, when the kids graduate, where do they go on to theater, or the majority of them want to be actors? I mean, because I would assume the fact that they're so close to Broadway, you know, and they're into the theater, that it must be really fascinating and maybe easier opportunities for them, no?
Most definitely. The premise of the school is we guide them through their training, and their journey in education is through the arts. Some of them will graduate, go off to college, continue studying the arts because that's what they want to do professionally. Mm-hmm. Some will go into college and become doctors and lawyers and teachers and principals and business people. So just because you're in an art school doesn't mean I mean, I would love for them to do it, especially the ones who are extremely talented. We have some kids who probably could, once they graduate, could go on Broadway, we already have kids who have been on Broadway. We have kids who had Netflix series. We have children who are in the Westchester Symphony Orchestra. We have kids who study at Concordia. We have students who are dancing with the Dance Theater of Harlem. We have kids who are at the Harlem School of the Arts. We have some very, very, very talented kids. We have kids who have had their artwork displayed and on display at art galleries around the city.
That's beautiful.
Our kids are doing their thing. And we have kids my seniors, this is my first group of seniors, and some of them have already received their college acceptance letters, and they already have 4-year rides to college, everything paid for. They're not only artistically inclined, they're also academically inclined. 2/3 of our school was on the honor roll just this past marking period. So people have this assumption that creative kids are not bright kids, but academic excellence and artistic excellence go hand in hand. So we have some phenomenal kids.
Yeah. My son went to Museum Middle High School here, and I mean, academically straighter kid, real smart kid. But they taught him, I guess when videos were coming out, how to do video. When there was like videotaping shows in the school in the auditorium, he started. He would do the lighting, and he started a museum, and now he's a set director for that show Pose and from Netflix.
Most
He's a
definitely.
set director. He makes sure
Very
that every cup is in every scene, and he started out at museums just adjusting the lights for videos.
And we just started a technical theater major. I didn't say that. That just started.
Oh, there you go.
Where the kids
Nice.
are learning lighting, they learn stage management, they learn set design, set
That's what he
construction.
did.
And
Yeah.
so we have a relationship with Purchase College. So many of those kids who are interested in the technical aspect, meaning they don't want to be in the spotlight, they can now go off to college and study technical theater on the college level and then work in the professional industry.
Wow. They could come here to Lionsgate. We're building a big,
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think this is incredible. One of the things that I've spoke on, me and Damon, my partner Damon couldn't be here today. One of the things we talk about is, all of our children are not necessarily college bound, or that's not in their plan. You need to teach kids trades, and you're teaching them real life skills that they can actually use to make a living off of. If they don't, like she said, her son, he learned at the school, and now he's doing what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? All our kids are not going to college, and they're not all going to be doctors or lawyers. And cities like Mount Vernon have so much creativity, and especially in our youth, you're tapping into that. I talked to Congressman Jamal Bowman about that. I definitely said I wanted to get the two of y'all together because he wants to do something with supporting more of the arts. And he said if we sow into them young people, what they go on to do, could help vitalize the economy in Mount Vernon alone, just off, the doing stuff like this. So I definitely just wanted to applaud you. When I think of school now, when I think of these kind of schools, of course, my only frame of reference is Fame, the television.
Oh my God, I was gonna say that. Do they go around the hallways and do they dance and sing?
They sure do.
Oh,
They sure do.
With the connection of Felicia and being Debbie's sister, you know what I'm saying? That's the first thing that came to my mind. So
that was the impetus. That was the impetus for the school. I grew up watching Fame like everyone else, but living in Detroit, Michigan, I couldn't go to the high school performing arts because it wasn't there. It was in New York City. So I thought, well, when I get older, I'm going to create a school for creative kids like myself who would love to be in an art-based school like Fame. And so coming to Mount Vernon and having the opportunity to create this school was a dream come true. So it's exactly that. That was exactly the inspiration for it, along with the Duke Ellington School of the Arts in DC.
That's beautiful. And since we brought her, so being that that's her sister, that's Felicia's sister, any chance to get Debbie to come through?
We're hopeful because we have such a strong, AJ, we have a beautiful dance program. We have a middle school dance program and a high school dance program where those kids are phenomenal. We have some kids, like I said, who are dancing with the Dance Theater of Harlem or at Harlem School of the Arts who are ready right now to go and dance. And so I've spoken to Felicia about this, having Debbie. Debbie's busy. She's all over the place directing. Right. So I imagine when she slows down a little bit, we'll be able to bring her in because I want her to see our dancers. Plus, we have a tap dance program that's taught by Domisha. Domisha was on Broadway, was one of the youngest tap dancers on Broadway. Tap with Savion, Omar Edwards, Black and Blue. All of that stuff. That's what I'm saying. The people who are teaching our kids are professionals. They live it, they sleep it, they drink it, they eat it, they know it. And that's why our kids are so accelerated.
One of our listeners, one second, Lorraine. One of our listeners, Crystal Harris Ballard, I hope I pronounced that right. She said, Dr. Collins has brought life back into our district through the arts.
Cool.
And I agree. I agree with that.
She also said that the children, yes, they do sing and dance. She said, especially in the cafeteria. That's
It's
so
a great
cool.
place to be. I love my job. I love my job. I
That's
most certainly do.
awesome. You know that Broadway. What was his name? Zegfield.
Yes.
Zegfield.
Back in the 20s. That's a long time ago.
And he was married to Glenda the Good Witch from The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Do you know this is their house?
Really?
Yeah.
Are you
You
in
gotta
Mount
see my ceilings. They're high, beautiful.
Yonkers.
Yeah.
Yonkers?
Yeah. Big old house I live in. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
They lived here. It was easier for them to travel to Broadway from Yonkers here. And this house is magnificent. It's huge.
Very nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So I
You
got a
gonna
little
go
bit of
again
history.
one day? I
So
get
now
to see
I'm
it.
connected to you, Dr. Collins.
Excellent.
Yeah, I just had to. I learned something new in every interview. I never knew that. Like I never heard that story, and I've taught you several times about wanting to create. The school, like because the school was in New York, and you wanted to create one in Mount Vernon. I
Well,
love that.
originally, AJ, I wanted to create it in Harlem. So
Okay.
originally, I was a principal in New York City. So I took a year. I left the New York City public schools to open a charter school in the arts. So I was creating the foundation for the first. It would have been the first performing arts charter school in Harlem. But I spent 2 years on it. I started to run out of money, and I said, I think I need to look for a job. And then I looked, and I saw the position for the director of the arts for Mount Vernon City School District. So I applied for the position, and Judith Johnson was the interim acting superintendent at the time, and she hired me. But at that time, there was no plan to start a performing arts school. It's only once I was in the district and I shared it with one of the board members, that I have this blueprint for a performing arts school. And he said to me, you mean we can have our own fame school here in Mount Vernon? I said, I would love to, if you guys would allow me to do it. And then I spoke to our superintendent and he said, yeah, go ahead. Yes, create it. And I don't think he knew I was going to do what I was going to do. Then
That's amazing.
I wrote a grant for about $1.5 million, and that's what launched the program. So originally it was going to be in Harlem, and then I arrived in Mount Vernon, and then I learned the history of Mount Vernon with its rich history in the arts and culture, and it was like it was supposed to. There was no doubt about it. That's where I was supposed to be.
How long has the school been open? I'm sorry.
This
How
is
long
our
has the school been?
Our 6th year. We'll be 7 years in September.
Sorry, AJ.
Oh, no problem. Okay. So no, I didn't even know it's been 7 years. I didn't know you said 7 years in September.
7 years
Is that what you said?
7 years in September.
That I didn't know either. So you started with the plays. I know. First off, thank you very much, because Mount Vernon. I'm based in Mount Vernon, but Mount Vernon has not always supported Black Westchester as in advertising. One of the first entities that supported outside of the Mount Vernon Public Library was the Performing Arts Department in the Mount Vernon City Schools.
Really?
I think the Seussical musical and some other musical, those were the first real support we got advertising from Mount Vernon. The city of Yonkers loves us. Like everybody in Yonkers, fire department, police department, everybody are, and several other, but we don't really get that from where I'm from. You don't get appreciated where you're from. But y'all were one of the first. And then Holly was working there. Holly Ayers. I had to fill out a gang of paperwork and all this to get into the system. And it was the first time I had to fill out papers and all this other stuff and forms and all this stuff. Yeah. I just basically sent the invoices. People sent me money. I hadn't had to do that before. But I definitely, y'all appreciated what Black Westchester was early on. And I just want to say thank you, because a lot of people, now we're going on 7 years for the website and 7 years on the radio show and 4 years for the newspaper. And now that we're getting awards and proclamations and all this other stuff, a lot of people are appreciating us now, but everyone didn't appreciate it in the beginning. And the performing arts department was one of the few that in Mount Vernon that actually, saw the power of advertising with us, and I appreciate that. Oh, Holly's listening. She said, "Hi, AJ." Holly, hey, Holly, how you doing?
Cool.
Yeah, so I definitely appreciate what y'all are doing, and anything Black Westchester can do to support, help get the word out. I can't wait to go to another play. I'm so mad that when I finally decided to start going, then we got COVID. Like, so I was like, I was going to catch every play from that point. Like,
what's gonna be the next play?
Well, I'm hoping to do. We were set to do Lion King, so we have to revisit Lion King because we already paid for it. So we have to do Lion King again. That was the community loved it. And then we may do Once on This Island. It's Caribbean flavored play. It's wonderful. It was on Broadway. And then what I've been doing every year is doing a production of a play by August Wilson. And that's the key piece that connected us to Denzel as well. Denzel bought the rights to all of August Wilson's plays. And so he was amazed that a high school had produced Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. So no other high school has tackled Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. But we produced it with our 10th and 11th graders. And they were just like the 6th and 7th graders with Charlie Brown. They were very serious. They were very hardworking. They were very committed. And then Felicia Rashad even came over and did a master class because she directed Ma Rainey's Black Bottom in California. And so it was almost around the same time. And then she told Denzel about our production of Ma Rainey's, and he was blown away by that. It was like high school kids doing Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. And so I was blown
away. Sorry to interrupt. I was blown away.
I appreciate it. They worked really hard. I love working with the kids when they work hard. And so I met August Wilson years and years ago, and I was always moved by him and his work. He's the only playwright, not just Black, but any playwright who's written 10 plays based on a decade in the history of African Americans. And so I made a commitment to myself that I would direct one of his plays every year. And so we did, we were working on 7 guitars. We did Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I'm not certain what we're going to do next year, but those will be the 3 productions. If we're back in the city.
One of the other things that's important about what you do, our children learn differently. Sometimes, let me put it, I just turned 55 last Friday. The play Hamilton, when they allowed that to be seen on Disney, 4th of July, it got me interested in that whole era that I had no interest in as an adult. The Federalist Papers and all of that stuff. Man, you know how much research I've done because of that? Like, without that, I wasn't interested in that stuff in school. Right. And it got me interested in all of that as an adult. You know what I'm saying? And I was like researching and who his wife was and her sisters. And I would Google so much stuff. That's sometimes how we learn. You know what I'm saying? That teaches, that's, through the arts is sometimes how we learn. And that's what's important about what you're doing.
And I'm going to be honest, too. When I was a principal in New York City, Lin-Manuel, the playwright and also the star of Hamilton, came to our school. And he came to our school and he was carrying this big, thick book about Alexander Hamilton. And I just thought, who would write a musical about Alexander Hamilton? I thought, who cares? Who cares? But then what he did with it, with the rap and the hip hop and the dancing and using actors of colors to play the characters, that's why it was such a hit on Broadway. But I didn't see that. He saw it. I thought he's reading about Alexander Hamilton, and he talked to our senior actors about Hamilton and his desire to write this play. That was a really cool moment, and I'll never forget it. Now that you put it in, perspective, that everybody then wanted to go and learn about that period in history, right?
Right. And to see a Black George Washington and a Black Thomas Jefferson, and like that. That was, I was so amped when I saw it. I've watched it like about 8 or 9 times at this point. But it made me go back. It made me interested in something I wasn't even interested in school.
Like, so then Just imagine, AJ, you in the theater. You watched it, you saw it on the big screen, your TV. But imagine
Yes.
you're in a live theater and you're having
Right.
that experience.
Right. And I'm mad that I never got to see it in the theater. I'm like,
You will. It'll be back. It'll be one of the shows that comes back. It was that
Yeah.
popular.
yeah. But that's the importance of what you're doing and engaging our youth like that, you know. And there's so much you learn in those processes. Like I said, it made me interested in a whole era that I didn't care about when I was in school. Like I said, I didn't really care. I didn't know what the Federalist Papers was. I didn't know there's a lot of that stuff I actually learned because of that play. And, you know, being a hip hop lover, the fact that it was in rap, that just did it for me. Like, you know, so we do learn through stuff like that. I've learned a lot from, I always said I learned more Black history from KRS and Chuck D than I did in school.
Wow.
I mean, for real. I mean, I learned a whole lot more from them than I did in anything I learned in school, other than Martin Luther King had a dream and Harry Tubman freed some slaves. Like, you know, that's like, you know, there's a lot more to our history than that, you know.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Is there anything I have not asked you that you want people to know about, either what you're doing with the school, future plans, or whatever?
I created a Saturday Arts Academy for the young children in Mount Vernon. So this is for kids who are in the kindergarten all the way up to the 6th grade. And so the program before the COVID, but now we do it online. But the young children are able to come in and study ballet. They're able to study the violin, piano, the visual arts, theater. We were doing tap dance. And we were able to offer it to the community free of charge. So normally if they were in, for example, Harlem, and they went to the Harlem School of the Arts, the parents would pay about $750 or try to get a scholarship to have their kids enroll. But what I decided to do was create this Saturday program so we can start training the young children, really so they can audition and come to my school, but so they would be prepared for it. Because we're not able to offer all of this in the K-8 schools in our district because they're mostly focused on reading and math and STEM, which I'm not negating. I'm just simply saying there's a place for the arts. But because I couldn't fit that into the schools, I decided to create a program on Saturday that feeds that in our young kids in Mount Vernon. You should see the children. You should see the little kids coming on a Saturday when we were in the building. The little girls with their little ballet bag, their little dance bags, and they're like 5 years old. And I remember saying to them, I said, so why are you here? And the little girl said, because I'm a ballerina. I've always wanted to dance. And then they go into the bathroom, they come out and they change into the little leotards. And it's the most beautiful, heart-touching thing. And so we're seeing them hold a violin and trying to learn how to play a violin. They will have that forever. And each year they'll be able to grow and grow and grow and be phenomenal. That's what I'm proud of as well, our Saturday Arts Academy.
That's very powerful. I had a pastor once who said any church that doesn't have programs for the youth, you're looking at a dead church. Because eventually people are going to get old and, you know, there's no youth to come up. If you want to revive our economy, you start with the youth. And you're teaching them, and just like we always think about sports as far as teaching them certain things, you know, about teams, certain things. We talk about sports, but you're learning skills and you're learning responsibility and you're learning a lot of things. You're learning confidence. You're learning these kids. You're taking the kids and doing that with them early. You know what I mean? So they feel comfortable in their skin, you know, when they get older and to do these things and to nurture their gifts that they were born with and you know, that's amazing.
Thank you.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Lorraine, any questions?
No, do you have like an ultimate goal?
Well, we're working on becoming a premier school in Mount Vernon. So we're working on being recognized by the United States Department of Education as a blue ribbon school. So a blue ribbon school is a handful of schools throughout the country who are exemplary. And because we have our test scores are decent, our attendance rates are wonderful, our parental participation is wonderful. We have great parents. Let me throw that out because I know some of the parents are on here watching. But I couldn't do what I do without the support of the parents. When I came to Mount Vernon, I'm not from Mount Vernon. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. And then I came via New York City. But when I came to Mount Vernon, nobody knew me. But they were willing to take their children. It was the first group with 60 kids, was willing to take their children who they knew were artistic and creative and allow them to audition for the school. The very first year, I accepted every kid who auditioned. You know, I accepted every last kid. And I'm going to tell you something. Those kids turned out to be some of the most talented kids that I've ever seen.
Mm.
Wow.
I accepted every kid who auditioned. And I remember one little boy who could sing, but he was so timid. And he came, and he hates when I tell this story, but he came over to me and he said, "Can I just sing to you? He didn't want to sing to everyone else." And I said, okay, Jamal, you can sing to me. But if you saw Jamal today, he's an 11th grader, and his ability to sing. We had a little girl who loved dancing, but all she saw was YouTube. She was on YouTube, Kendall McDowell. Kendall, I'm going to tell you right now, she's a phenomenal dancer. She's been to the Debbie Allen Academy in California.
Wow.
She's at Dance in Harlem. Now she's at Harlem School of the Arts. And every time she dances, I remember when she was in the 6th grade, and now she's in the 11th grade. I have another student who has a voice who one day will be on Broadway. There's no doubt about it. I mean, she's had all the leads in all the plays. She was Celie in The Color Purple. She was Dorothy in The Wiz. This is Mount Vernon. She was Dorothy in The Wiz. She was Gertrude in Suzico. She was Sally in You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. This child won the gold medal in the NAACP AXL competition as a vocal participant. Phenomenal, show-stopping kid. I have Spencer Augustine, who can tap. He'll summon up like Gregory Hines or the Nicholas Brothers. He'll summon up Savion or Omar Edwards, all of these phenomenal tap dancers. We have string students who are the only children of color in an all-white orchestra, and they're hanging in there with all of the kids. We have kids who are at Juilliard in the MAP program and the pre-college program. One of our students won first place in the national vocal competition across the country. He won first place. Those are my students. Those are my students.
Wow.
One of the mothers, Alicia McDowell, she said, "My daughter was invited to spend the summer in LA with the Debbie Allen Academy." She wrote that comment earlier. I never got a chance to get to it, but yeah, she's listening now.
About. Her daughter, oh yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
the kids should do a documentary about the school.
We
about
will.
the students in the about the students in the school. Yeah, oh nice.
Yeah, we're working on it. I'm
That'd
very
be
proud
nice.
of this. I hope Mount Vernon is. I know that we're proud.
I'm proud, and I'm not from Mount Vernon, but I'm your neighbor. I'm real proud. I'm excited.
So let me
It's so
ask you
nice.
two things, two questions. So for the school itself, there's an audition process. How does that work?
The kids audition. Now we have to do it on Zoom. So we've been running this commercial. That's the ad we placed in the Westchester. So the kids, they go on our website and they fill out a form that says they're interested in auditioning. And then one of my administrative assistants sets up an appointment. And then the art teachers are there in Zoom. They come in, they perform their audition. The teachers make a decision based on what they saw. So what we're looking for is the potential for talent. Some of the kids are going to be extremely talented. Some of the kids are going to have that potential for talent. So the teachers are looking at, can I grow that talent? We're going to take the phenomenal kids, of course. But the other kids are, can we grow their talent? And that's what we do. So after the audition, the parents interview. The kids write an essay. They submit letters of recommendation, and they submit their report card. Because once they get into the school, we kind of amp up the academics because they have to work really hard, to get the proper grades.
Now, and then the Saturday Academy, how does that work? That's can anybody bring their kids there? Does it have to be? You have to be within the city limits of Mount Vernon. How does that work?
You have to be in Mount Vernon, but not necessarily in Mount Vernon City School District. So your kids could be in private school. They can be in Catholic school. They can be in any school, but they have to be a resident of Mount Vernon.
Right. So they just
register. That's it.
Oh, okay.
No audition for that. For that, they just come, they register, they become a part of the program.
Yeah, I have to. So, I'm always in keeping it real. So I used to play ball. I was a decent player. And my mom moved out. My mother and father moved me out to Long Island when I was 7, and I came back at 14. So junior high school out there, the first year, junior high school, I think in 8th grade. So I made the team, not because I was the most talented, but because the coach saw that I had potential. So I can relate to what you're saying, because I wasn't, I was good, I was okay, but there was some superstars, but he saw that I had the potential and the drive, and that's why I made the team. Because some people try to figure out, how did I make the team? So yeah, that's how I made the team. Yeah. So I can definitely relate to that whole. Huh?
I learned that from Peggy Cooper K-Fritz. Yeah. She's no longer with us, but she was the founder of the Duke Ellington School of the Arts. And I wrote my dissertation on the Duke Ellington School of the Arts. And I learned a lot from Peggy. And one of the things she said to me, that she always looked for the potential of talent. Some of the kids came in and they would be phenomenal, but there were other kids who had that potential, hadn't had the exposure, and could her staff bring them up? Right? They had to have some talent, but could we bring them up to where we wanted them to be? And I learned a lot of lessons from her.
So is social media for people that want to know, to follow what the school is doing, maybe to find out when the plays are coming out and stuff? What is there social media?
We have a page on Facebook, Denzel Washington School of the Arts. So all they have to do is like it, and we have videos there from our performances. We have the events when they're coming up, that sort of thing. So that's how they can keep up with us. If they don't want to like it, they could just follow the page. And
I'm sorry.
And I have to apologize to you. You asked me, can I play a video? You saw I barely got my video played today because of the Wi-Fi. I was like,
that was an audition.
I got your video on. So.
For the information on the Saturday program. Wait, AJ, hold on a second. For information on the Saturday program, they go to the website as well?
They can go to the website, or they can email Holly Ayers. That's Ayers, AYERS, at Mount Vernon City School District.com.
Thank you.
Org.
Okay.
I want to give you a chance, last words, anything I didn't ask you. But before I do that, I'm very critical of leadership, especially here at Mount Vernon. I have been critical of Dr. Hamilton at times. But I have to compliment him that he had the vision to allow you to do this. Even if he didn't know what it was you were doing, he had to see that it was something, like, because I can see some schools like, oh, we don't need that, and worried about grades and passing tests and stuff like that. So he had the foresight to allow you to do it and let you have, and for that, I give him much respect.
I do too, AJ, because that's what I always say. I say, had it not been Dr. Hamilton, who I respect, and I know people have their feelings this way or that way, but I've always respected him because he's allowed me to be me and to do what it is I do and to support it. To ensure that we had that 1,600 seat auditorium fully renovated. Fully renovated. When I said I would like to put in a brand new dance studio, he said, go ahead. I said, could I squeeze in a little experimental theater? He said, go ahead. When I talked about renaming the auditorium from Woods Auditorium to the Felicia Rashad Auditorium, he was like, he's always supported any initiative I had for our school. So that's what I know. And that's who I deal with.
Right. And I just want to I want the public to give him my shout, because, I am critical of our leaders. And I feel like being, the Black media in the area, I have to hold our Black leaders to a higher standard, of excellence. So it's usually all out of love. But, I want to also give credit where credit is due, because I know in other school districts, this might not have been possible because the head person couldn't see the vision of it and see the benefit of it. So this only happens because he either believed in you that you knew what you were doing, or he had to have some sort of vision.
That speaks volumes on Dr. Collins too. That he believed in her and he was willing to take a risk. Some people like to stick to status quo; they don't like change. And he's
an arts person too, so he's a singer. So he's
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
yeah, yeah. So he,
Good.
so he,
It
had
was
a,
never too late.
he has a special place in his heart for the arts. And he was the one, AJ, that recommended that we place an ad in Black Westchester for our upcoming auditions. That was Dr. Hamilton.
Well, thank you,
Don't
Dr.
you better say nothing else, AJ,
Wait,
ever
wait.
again.
So,
That's
so,
it.
so thank you, Dr. Hamilton, because we met thanks to Brenda Crump. You
Most
know
definitely.
what I realized. You know, we got a new police commissioner. Eventually, I had a conversation with him, let him know who I am, find out who he is. If you hear anything, you call me directly. You know, and if I hear anything, I call you directly. And I established that. For some reason, I'd worked with him on the bonds and you know, getting the word out. But me and him had never had that conversation. And Brenda Crump made that happen this past summer.
Mhm.
And you know, he had me come through, and we had a nice long conversation, very forthright. You know, we, you know what I'm saying. And he expressed whatever concerns and stuff, and I appreciate him, you know, for walking, you know, for extending that, because he didn't have to. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I mean, we are the black media in the area, but you can get the word out of News 12 and Loha. You don't really have, you know what I'm saying, if you don't really appreciate what we do. But he showed me that he did appreciate it. And I thank Brenda L. Crump, for setting that up.
I
Because
have
I guess she had,
much respect for Miss Crump. When I first came to
right.
the district, she introduced herself, and I'm gonna be honest with you. She came to every event that I was a part of, whether it was a show or just representing the district. She was always there, and she would always come up to me and say kind words afterwards. And she was the one that introduced me to you via our first interview when we were doing the Lion King. That's Miss Crump. I have Mrs. Crump. I have much respect for her.
So she's listening, because I just got a text message from her. I
Oh,
must have forgot her L. I must have forgot her L. So, you know, Brenda L. Crump, right? So
much
Brenda
respect.
L. Crump. Yeah. But yeah, she made that happen. And she had his ear, and she heard my concerns and heard his concerns, and realized that we needed to just sit down and have a conversation. You know, and we did, and he was open to it, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate finding out that he was suggested that you advertise. That's great to know. So, you know,
And
because
Paige,
that tells me, because some people have lip service when they're there, but when they follow it up with action, that's following it up with action. And then, you know, that shows me you are what you say you are.
right,
And I can't do nothing but respect that.
right.
So there's a lot of your, I guess, teachers and stuff. They've all, there's too many comments to mention,
You
but
got a fan
a lot of
club.
people giving you a lot of accolades and
Really, I can
applause.
see it.
And I wanted to do this again. You know, like I said, and I keep saying this, once we get close to a primary, there's so many candidates running in the elections throughout Westchester. So the show becomes nothing but candidate interviews. And Lorraine and I were sitting there. So we removed the candidate interviews, most of them, to Tuesday. We have a Super Tuesday episode. And so we can do that. And I can get back to doing this and putting the people before the politics, as the name attests. And this being Black History Month, again, we celebrate the achievements of people after they're gone. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted to celebrate your achievements, what you're doing and what you're going to do now. And give you, as my mother would say, give you your flowers while you're alive. So
I appreciate
I hope I've done a little bit of that, and I hope that some people that didn't know about the school learned a little bit about it. And you know, it's an open door when you need to discuss some stuff. You know, you got my number. You just call me, and we'll get you on right away.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you for everything that you're doing. Any last words, Lorraine?
No, I just one quick question. Do you still
Okay.
act sometimes?
If I can, I direct professionally. I haven't done any acting,
Oh, okay. All right.
but if something came along, I would do it.
Okay.
Would you ever act in any of? Would you play a role in any of the plays at the school?
No, because I don't want to take the spotlight away from the kids. You know, there's some adults in schools who get up on the stage with the kids, but for me, even though there have been wonderful roles like Mama and the Raisin in the Sun when we did that, or
Right.
Sophia in Color Purple, but I would
Right.
never, ever do that because my kids are capable, and I'd rather put the shine on them. I've already had my shine. I did that when I was in school and in college, so and professionally. But it's their time now. I don't want to upstage them.
I don't know the young lady's name, but she played one of the main roles of Ma Rainey, dark-skinned girl. She was very good.
Phenomenal. She's phenomenal.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan, and I hope I hope to follow her career. She's definitely going to be doing something. She's definitely.
She reminds you of Viola Davis, doesn't she? She reminds you a little bit of Viola.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She's already doing something, AJ. She's already got people's attention.
No. I know, but I'm saying I look forward to following her career. I'm glad to see. It's great to see people on this level, and then when they blow up, you know what I'm saying? Be like, yeah, I seen her in high school. You know, that's great. You know, we get to see ball players in high school and see them in the pros. This is the equivalent of that to me. For me. Taryn, Taryn, Taryn Marissa Hill said, Dr. Collins is awesome. Jamal Ballard said, thank you, Dr. Collins. Appreciate you for everything that you do. Kenya Miller said, this is great. Crystal Harris Ballard said, thank you, Dr. Hamilton and the Board of Trustees for the continued support of our school, DWSA. Andrea Thomas said, shout out to Dr. Hamilton for his support of our school. Alicia McDowell gave Holly's email address that you gave in the comment section.
Miss McDowell.
And Crystal said, our students rock. Andrea Thomas said, shout out to Camille. Shout out to Miriam.
That's Miriam.
Okay, who's Miriam?
My future Broadway star who was
that I was just talking about?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go. I'm a fan. I posted
about her on my Facebook page. Yes, Miriam.
Okay.
Yes.
She did her thing. I told her that when we were after the fact. I walked up to her when we was in the hallway, and I just shook her hand. I was like, "Yo, you did your thing." Yeah. Crystal says our PTA rocks. Shout out to our PTA. Holly said hello to me. Andrea Sutherland said, I'm so grateful our children have an opportunity. Thank you so much. Crystal said, yes, they do. They're dancing in the cafeteria. And it's an academic and artistic excellence. And those are just a few of the comments that came through. But I want to thank you for taking the time. I've done a lot of things. I always say this. I say this in the beginning. Made a lot of money, lost a lot of money. I'll make a lot of money again. But one of the things I'm learning is that I can never get time back. So I'm very appreciative of people's time. So I want to thank you for your time. You could be doing anything else. I greatly appreciate you. And we're here. Black Westchester is here for you anytime you need us.
Thank you so much. Thanks for inviting me on. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. Not a problem. And I'm looking forward to the next play.
Me too.
Even if y'all got to do it virtually and I got to watch it on something, I can't wait to see the next one. That might be an idea. It might be a new idea.
We got something coming out. We have something.
Okay.
I'll keep you posted.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You have a great day. Oh, wait. And happy Valentine's Day.
Same to you, Lorraine.
I ain't doing a button-down shirt for you. Ex Lorraine, I usually wear a T-shirt and a baseball hat. Look, I got dressed up for Valentine's Day. Yeah.
So, I appreciate it.
No problem. All right, everybody. We thank everybody for tuning in. This is once again the Black Westchester presents the People Before Politics radio show. You could be doing anything else, but you decided to ride with us, and we greatly appreciate it. Until next week, peace. We out.
Bye-bye.